I want people who believe in our young people. I don't want anyone who is going to give and then say, "Oh, I'm wasting his time." They are irredeemable. No, I want people who believe in it. I go around with a strong message now to the children, telling them stories to shut out the negative voices. When I tell those stories, principals run out in the schoolyard screaming. Teachers, guidance counselors, because they all can connect with this voice over the years and keep beating them down. And when it's coupled with the motivational music and stuff, there's nothing like it. You can't hold back the tears.
What is that like? Walk me through what one of your sessions would be like.
Engaging, conversational. And so I'm telling them a story about the prodigal son, for example. And I might say, we rewrote the story, by the way, Prodigal Son, to name the two sons, Usain and Herbie, so that is more, they can relate to it more. So I told them, of course, they usually can guess which one went away, Usain. And when I said to them, he asked for all his inheritance, and I might say to them, what's an inheritance? And they say, an inheritance, sir, money? I say, yes. They say, a house? I say, yes. And I remember in St. Thomas just recently, last month, I said, think a little bigger. I said, oh, an inheritance can be something like a business, like a hotel. And I said, oh, sir, a ship? I said, yes. I said, okay. Then they started thinking out of the box, way out of the box, that this little 11-year-old boy said, sir, I would love to inherit New York. So it's conversation, and that just gets everybody active and engaged. Sometimes it includes me playing music, and if I can find one of them and tell a story on top of that music while the music is playing. So I might be telling the story, and the frogs started shouting. What were they saying? They might say, no, stop, it's too difficult. You can't make it. And before you know, they start shouting, no, stop, it's too difficult. You can't make it. But they kept running, and they kept running. Telling a story. All the Usain Bolts, the Asafa, the Shelley, the Otti, they fell out of the race. The Veronica, the Elaine, they fell out of the race. But one tiny green frog made it to the top of the mountain.
Why do you think your content is so engaging?
Music. People love music. Story. People love a good story. So I'm using the key areas of not just grabbing attention, but also retention. Music. And all that music has to offer in terms of mental focus and the mental power, because I use that as well. Sometimes I go into a school and I'll help a principal with a class that's having difficulty, challenges with mental focus, and I use music. So I use some level of music therapy. Some music, the spirit, because I'm also a believer of Jesus Christ. The spirit, the storytelling, and like I tell every teacher into the schools that I go, the attitude. See, your attitude when you are imparting knowledge to that child, you will cause the child to fall in love with that subject. There are teachers that taught me so well that years after I left the school, I felt like I was still in their class. Like the teacher who told me that a dirty shoe is a reflection of a dirty mind. And every morning, everybody had to stand up in the class, and he come around and he inspect your shoes. And if your shoes weren't up to standard, you had to go outside and clean it before you could enter his class. So the attitude of the teacher. And then the other thing that makes it so effective, preparation. I prepare for the slow boy. I prepare for the slow girl. I prepare for the one who don't want to hear no music. I prepare for the one who's having challenges at home. I prepare for the boy that the guidance counselor tell, get up and come out. And I have to say to her, with all respect, ma'am, allow me to finish my process like the boy said. Thank you. So when that boy was so disturbing, putting the rag over his face and every comment he make him cynical, yes, when I was finished, the boy came over and said, sir, can I get a picture with you? So the preparation is key. That you're gonna have those who never had any breakfast and the ability to focus is not there. These are things we should take into consideration when we go to educate our children. With all the troubles, boy, we don't pay attention. So these are some of the reasons. And we not only find problems, we look for solutions.
Is your program aimed at the children or at adults?
Children ages 9 to 17. That's our target group, boys and girls. But because we recognize that the circle around them, we also have to have a conversation with the adults, their parents. Because when I reinforce certain things with the child, honesty and integrity, but you have parents who don't have those beliefs.
So is it your hope to re-socialize children so that they have good practices as adults?
Yes.
Is that the...
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
They might call them, when I check with the Ministry of National Security, they call them low risk. Sadly, the ministry focus mainly on high risk, but that is when the horse already gone through the gate. And some great attention needs to be placed on honesty, politeness, integrity, the things that we grew up on. I'm not sure when were you guys born, but the things we were growing on. Some of those memory gems. Excuse me, please. It's okay to say sorry, and thank you. Those are some of the key things that are lacking now. So I hope to reform the nation with the strong message of love your neighbor as yourself. If each of us begin to love, the people said to me, how can I be a part of your foundation? I said, you can start right now. Even if you don't give me $1, here's how you can begin. Start right now to love your neighbor as yourself. But you must first learn to love you before you can share that with anybody else.
So it's been 6 years since you resigned from your over 2-decade-long job. Have you ever felt any regret?
The only regret I have concerning my job, one is that I didn't do it sooner, and two, the wealth of knowledge. I have 23 years of shipping knowledge that if I don't use it, I would hate to see go waste. That's my only other regret.
You haven't gotten a paycheck in 6 years. How have you sustained yourself? How you pay your bills and eat and all
I had
these
some
things?
savings. I used that up. My mother even asked that very same question. Over the last 2 years, we've had some persons who come on, a few from Jamaica and a few from overseas, to give $25 per month. Probably about 10, 15 people. But they're not consistent. Not all of them are consistent. So that helped a little with the outreach, but it is nothing in comparison to what we spend. I mean, like before COVID, the last 2 girls' home we did, one in Stony Hill and one down in Trelawney. That's $535,000 worth of stuff we gave away. This is not our entire cost. That doesn't include our transportation. That doesn't include our T-shirts. Nothing like that. That was just what it cost us to give them.
So all of this is coming is primarily out of the 15 million that you had in your savings.
Yes.
So what do you use to sustain yourself?
It's finished now.
It's finished
That's why
now.
I'm crying out. I need a car. I'm appealing to Jamaica that I need a car. I don't think I should suffer to go and get a car to go continue doing what I'm doing. My car is now down $432,000. They said to repair it. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna ask the car dealers for a car. I'm gonna ask the petroleum sellers for gas for 5 years. I'm gonna ask, if you follow, I'm gonna ask for these specific. I'm gonna ask Digicel to keep my phone going for the rest of my life. That's where I'm at, because it's not a one-man effort. Even though it's the vision started with me, one person can't carry it. It's great. I'm gonna go meet with Mr. PM2 and share with him and let him know I've always been working with him, though I don't work for him. So that's really where I'm at now. I'm open to receive the support, and not just any support. I want people who believe in our young people. I don't want anyone who is going to give and then say, oh, I'm wasting his time. They are irredeemable. No. I want people who believe in it. It's when you believe in it, your attitude is different. You're not going to give $1 and then complain. Oh, I wonder what them do with the $1. I don't see anything happening. You're going to make sure you are a part of what is happening. 20 people said yes. 20 people said yes. What did they say yes to? They said, I want to be a part of the saving of a nation. I want to be a part of the rescuing of a nation. And they said yes. What did they say yes to? They said, yes, I want to come in as a partner with the Love Has Hands Foundation to help reach our at-risk youths all across Jamaica through music, through storytelling and different tools that we employ, conversations, so that we can help them to turn away from what could be possibly violence and trauma. And so 20 people said, yes, I will be a part of the saving of a nation. And so they have agreed to contribute US $25 or Jamaican $3,800 per month to help carry this message into our schools, into our children's home, into our communities. I started this 6 years ago, shortly after the 14-year-old boy was stabbed on the bus over his phone, over his cell phone, a phone that can't even go on the internet. And since then I've been traveling around the entire island like a madman, using my talent, my gift, my music to make a difference. And you can make a difference. Children need more than just food and clothing. Those are essential. But something else is happening in the mind. Something is happening in the heart that we need to pay attention to. And so I'm making an appeal to come on board. This is Jermaine Gordon. Come on board through the Love Has Hands Foundation and become one of our partners, become one of our volunteers, become one of our sponsors, or become one of our members.